Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Brews Business Podcast, where you can step into the shoes of everyday small business owners and professionals as you'll hear the stories and the experiences to help you grow your business. I'm your host, Braden Cruz, with Sooner Marketing Solutions, streaming live at the Blue Studio every Friday. You can catch us here on the Blue Studio Instagram account. You can meet your co-host, Abel Rodriguez. What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good.
And
About
you're
to be
not
doing a whole lot better for the weekend.
Yeah, and you're not in the studio today, so we're doing a special deal where you're calling you in, and so that's gonna be pretty cool experience. And then we've got Chance Jones with Threaded Industries. What's up?
How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Got a new client working with tomorrow.
That's awesome, man.
Super
That's
excited, yeah. And our special guest, which I'm very excited to have in the studio, is Toya.
Yes.
And, I mean, today's all about you.
Listen, come on. I like them kind of days. Every woman like that. It's all about me.
So when you came in for that headshot event that we did, you had some inspirational, like, I don't know, it was 5 minutes or less. Yeah. But I felt like you're really inspiring, and you seemed very jack of all trades. Like, you had a lot of experience in some different fields and stuff.
Yes.
So, like, man, what do you do nowadays?
Yeah. The crazy thing today, so my new thing that I'm doing, which nothing but God, I am a 3rd grade reading teacher. I'm like, how did that happen? How did I get there, Lord? And so I was substituting last year, and they just wanted me to kind of jump in or whatever. And I'm like, how am I going to fit this in with everything I'm doing? But today was so fulfilling because I was the teacher of the month. So these other
cool.
teachers,
Congrats.
and I've never taught in my life. So I'm like, how am I? Y'all go to school for this. What are we doing? You know what I mean? And so that is super dope, you know? So I was like, what? How crazy is this? I'm teacher of the month. That's awesome. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So that was really cool. So that was kind of today's like highlight, right? But what I do in my other life, right? I have a company with my husband called Forbes Entertainment, and I am an actress. I am a producer, director. I am a comedic storyteller. So I'm a writer.
Told you she was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
All the boxes have been
Listen, and I wrote my first book called The African Dancer that I'm going to turn into a stage production show next year. But I also, that's my husband's company, and I help assist with that as his VP. But I have my own company. You know, girl got to have her own stuff now with her own money. Come on now.
Because you didn't have enough before.
Right, I know, right, that part. It's called Forbes Enterprise. I am a certified life coach and a life coach trainer. We have about 37 life coaches now. I train out of Arizona. It's an organization called Phenomenal Woman Empowerment Network. And we have coaches in Jamaica. We have coaches in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, like everywhere. So I do that, right?
So do you travel?
I do travel. We have an annual conference that we hold for our coaches and our members of the organization every year in Arizona, which Arizona is absolutely beautiful. It's just hot. It's another level of heat.
I've never been to Arizona.
Oh my God, you got to go. It's gorgeous.
I think I've traveled through Albuquerque once, but that doesn't count when you hit an airport and you are, in between flights. Right. It doesn't count as being like, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, but yes. Yes, but it is like for real hot.
It is.
Like, I don't want to go to hell. You know what I mean? That's the type of hot heat it is there.
It's hot.
It's intense. But it's beautiful, though. It's like a beautiful, only way I can describe it's a beautiful desert.
Yep.
Because it's desert, but it's beautiful. So I do that. I go to L.A. a lot.
LA's pretty cool.
If I can move to LA right now, I would. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. It's the cost of living. It's good to visit, right?
It's kind of like New York. Like, I've been in New York
too.
4 or 5 times, and I've lived there.
You lived in New York?
Lived in Jersey City between Bayonne and Hoboken.
Did you like it?
Worked in Brooklyn. I loved it.
I love New York.
It was awesome.
Yes.
But the amount of time that it took to travel to and from work, the commuting, and things like that, I couldn't justify that. It was like I feel like it was time lost.
Yeah.
I think it's always good to like decompress, when you're kind of getting off work, going home or whatever it is between jobs or, projects and stuff. But the decompression time was an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
One way. I mean, you could be riding a train for 20 minutes. I took 3 trains to get to work one way. And that's only going like 2 miles, 3 miles. like between Jersey City and Brooklyn on the map, Fly by Crow is like not that far apart.
Yeah.
But I had to take the light rail to get there. Then I'd take another subway to go under the Hudson River. And sometimes I'd have to pop up in Manhattan in order to catch another train to get over to Brooklyn or maybe northern part of Manhattan, things like that.
That's insane.
And so I was just back there. This is my 10th anniversary. And kind of being in the industry, since I kind of like started this whole marketing journey of mine.
Yes.
I don't mean to take your story.
No, honey, go. You better go ahead. You better share.
But I feel like I could relate to some degree, like the New York thing. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah.
And so I was up there working for marketing companies and stuff. But I decided to come back because I was like, I don't know. I like the travel time was a big one for me. Yeah. And then I think I went through 2 pairs of shoes in less than a year.
That's all the walking. Baby, you gonna listen. Shoot. You want to lose weight, you need to live one of them places. you live in LA, Chicago,
baby, New York.
You will look good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get a lot of walking. I didn't get above 160.
Wow. See, I believe it. It is a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I love Chicago. To me, Chicago is a little New York. I call it little baby New York, but cleaner. Because Chicago is a lot cleaner. New York is dirty.
Yes.
But I love New York though. I love
how when I was just up there in May, nobody cares about anything. Like no one really gives a shit. You could bump.
Well, they're just kind of all in their own little space. Like they just deal with themselves.
There's people out there that are places to go and things to do and people to see.
Yep.
If you bump into somebody, it is sorry, move on.
Right, yeah.
Here it is like, I am so sorry. Can I get you a glass of sweet tea?
Right.
Do you want a pastry?
Yes, yes.
We'll go to Starbucks real quick. I'll buy.
Yeah. I think, everyone has their opinion of New York. I absolutely love it. It's either you love it or you hate it when it comes to New York, because people are very straightforward there. And it's like, okay, what are we doing? And I can kind of be that way a little bit. So I've had to learn how to be more personable sometimes. But when I feel like when we're trying to do the business, like let's cut the small talk and let's figure out what the percentage.
Right.
Let's just talk about it. You know what I mean? So that we're communicating. So it's no gray areas. So I feel like in that sense, I'm like, okay, I like them. When they do that. But they're not. They're not supposed to talk to you.
Right.
They're not supposed to engage with you.
Nope.
Don't be looking at them, looking around because you're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Excuse me? Who you looking at?
Right, exactly.
Can I help you?
Right.
What's your problem?
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, dang, I just was just looking. I wasn't even looking at you. I was looking over there.
Yeah.
So, no.
It's so whack, too. I was telling my girlfriend, I was telling her what it was like being up there.
Yeah.
And, there was 2 times. One time I was on the train, and this guy was tripping and hanging from the bars, the rails and stuff, and he was on drugs of some sort. Nobody looked at him.
Nope, they're
Nobody asked if he was okay.
Nope.
He was banging his head against the wall and the doors, and he was yelling at people, and he was literally, people are just like that.
It's like me in a restaurant.
Business, baby.
It's like me in a restaurant when someone else's kids is acting a fool.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep. You gonna get them.
You gonna do something about that?
Right. Wow. It is that way. They're like, tunnel vision. Like, yep, that's not our problem.
Here are people you'd have 10 911 calls.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds.
Yeah. Right. Listen, and I think too, something like. And so you might hear me talk about God sometimes because I am an ordained minister. So that's another thing, right?
Box checked.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, all these things. But I feel like Tulsa's beautiful, right? And the cost of living and raising a family, it's amazing to do that here.
Yes.
And so that's something that God says, even though I know you like the big city life and you want to do all those things, go and do it and come back. Mm-hmm. Go and do it. The type of house that I could build here for what I would have to pay for there.
3 times the cost.
Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he said, is it worth it? Like you said, for the hustle and bustle, every day, day in and day out, I could do that for maybe 2 months to be on a movie set or a project.
And that's fun to do sometimes.
Exactly, and going home.
Yeah.
But to do that
7 days a week.
Nuh-uh. And so I had to really think about that. And then obviously those big cities, like everywhere you go, you have to pay for parking. Baby, $25. We went to the mall.
Expensive.
$30. How you like? We going to the mall, right? $30, and I got to go buy other stuff. Like you just spent my money,
Right.
you know.
Either that or you Uber. That's
Right.
$30 anyway. So might as well pay for parking.
Exactly. And I'm like, we're so spoiled in Tulsa. Like, there's no place for paying for parking unless you're going downtown.
Yeah.
If you go
And you
after
can still
hours,
find
even then-
spots.
you show. Listen.
Yeah.
But even in downtown, you don't have to pay
Right.
after hours.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
You might have to walk 1 block.
Whoa, would
Oh,
be
gosh.
like oh my God, you know, they walking 4 or 5 blocks to save money. You hear me? So
Oh
I'm
man,
like,
at least like
Right.
when I was in New York, I'd walk. It'd be 16 blocks.
oh, I believe.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna take the train.
Yeah.
Because then I have to wait.
Yep.
and then-
You get there quicker.
Yeah.
I say my legs, my Escalades. I can get there quicker.
My Lamborghinis.
Come on now. You see what I'm saying? I get there quicker. You know, so it's like, man, I said, let me rethink this. Let me just allow opportunities to come, people to what? Pay my way to get there. You want my service? You want me to be in this? Get me the hotel. Fly me in. You know what I mean? Or pay my guests, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, let that work for me
Right.
versus trying to, uproot my whole livelihood, and then be in a situation that I'm low-key regretting later.
Get
you
like
know?
a studio apartment, Airbnb it when you're not there.
Listen, and and if you have, and I'm gonna tell you, so many people are doing that now. You have people in the industry that have that, and because you're up there, they're like, hey, just you don't even have to pay the full thing. Just do this.
Yeah. You up there for 2 weeks?
And there's
Okay.
there's
Right.
corporation stuff too that'll rent apartments. They'll lease them fully
Yes.
furnished and stuff. They'll pay the fee, but then they'll have executives or things like that that'll just come by and stay for a week or
Yep.
2 weeks, and that way they don't have to pay for a hotel.
There you go.
They just have a consistent bill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, if I get that big in the fashion industry, I'm gonna need a house, or we're gonna need a
Listen,
studio apartment,
baby.
and then we can just work out some
Come on.
deals.
I'm telling you, that's the way to do it, So I'm like, okay, let me start thinking like that. And I think when I settled with that, I was okay.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we have a business trip the 18th through the 22nd. We're going to Florida. That's a whole week. So I get to be on the beach and get to have that, but everything's paid for. You know what I'm saying? Everything's taken care of.
Take the weekend, but work on a Monday.
Listen, baby, don't play with me. That's how you do
You got to
it.
know how to do taxes.
Right.
That's all you got to know about.
Listen.
Any business, if you know how to do taxes,
Come on.
you can make anything a write-off. There's a form for everything.
I promise you. Listen, we're in the entertainment business, so
She's like, I understand write-offs in
baby.
entertainment.
2 years ago, because we was trying to do everything ourselves, and we finally got an accountant, did everything right. So she was like, okay, did you, because of course I save our receipts, we got everything. She said, okay, this is a tax write-off. Do you know our clothes, when I get my nails done, when I get my hair retwisted because I have locks.
You got to look good for the part.
Listen, honey, my husband haircut,
Everything
I said, tell the
is
barber-
an expense.
listen, the barber, because he's old school, so I said, have him, we got a receipt book, right? I said, every time you go in there, have him sign it, And I'm like, oh my God, I can buy like a purse, like anything. And it is like, that's part of my image.
Yep.
It's part of my branding. So I'm like,
it's the
see,
truth, man.
it's, yeah. So, baby,
Before you start a business, before you even get an LLC, you need to know what taxes are.
you talking.
You need to know what you can classify and
That
expense,
is
which
correct.
is
we
everything.
need to get a CPA on this podcast.
That would
one
be a
day.
good one.
Yes.
That would be really good.
Yes. You know how I learned those things. So I'm pretty sure you guys heard of SCORE, right? So that's who we went to, and that's who helped us set up our business 6 years ago. So we got married, and then we started our business. So everybody was like, that's crazy. You guys probably shouldn't do both of those at the same time.
It's like 80% more likely to stay together if you start a business together.
Listen, because like we're partners, we're invested.
Money's not an issue, and that's what breaks up a lot of marriages.
Listen.
What is that saying? They're like couples who live together, couples who do this together, stay together.
Yeah,
do.
yes.
Couples who do business together, stay together.
It's like
Yes.
80%, something like that. It's crazy.
Is. And it's like, and I know my strengths. I know his strengths. We know each other's weaknesses. So we know how to and it's like, and it feels truly like a partnership.
Right.
Because marriage should be a partnership.
100%.
Shouldn't be like one person. Now, I am a little old school, and I do believe in a level of submission. So women don't come for me now. Because they be like, don't you talk about it. But I do submit to my husband, and I do honor him because he is the head of our household.
Right.
But because of the love and respect that I have for him, he gives me that leadway and say, hey, he's like, listen, what do you think? You know what I mean? Because of the respect I give him.
I always get my significant others opinion.
Yes.
She's
With the helpmate.
She plays a vital role in the success of our household.
Yes.
Day in and day out, and big picture.
Listen.
Whether it comes to finances or what we're having for dinner.
That part.
Or what we're doing with our life in 10 years.
Come on.
Where's your 401k at?
That's right.
Where are we doing it with investments? You know?
Listen.
Like, we want to have a couple of rental properties. We don't need like 200 necessarily.
That's right.
But we're like, I was talking to her about buying a house.
Yes.
And I'm like our ideal, and this is a common thing. But it was our idea first.
Yeah. I love it. I like that credit.
We want to buy 5 to 10 acres.
Love
and
it.
we have 2 horses that we're boarding, which is an expense.
Yes, it is.
It's just a rent. It's like part of that payment plus our rent now in an apartment is basically a real nice house.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's like, okay, well, let's go buy the land. Let's build a house on there. And we really want a barn dominium. Yeah. Right. But we're going to need about
huge space,
$350,000 to $450,000 to do that. So we're like, okay, well, what if we went out and bought the land and then put out a cheap mobile home?
Yep.
And the mobile home's $400 a month, and some of those are really nice.
Baby, some of them is bomb.
They're not long term, right?
Yes.
My parents are getting old, and so I told them they live out in North Carolina, and I said, listen, you guys don't have retirement.
Yeah.
You just got life insurance last year.
Yeah.
Guess where you're going when dad's not working anymore?
Yeah.
You're coming back to me.
Exactly.
And I'm the firstborn.
So, yes. Responsibility.
So responsibility comes into play. And so I'm thinking like over the next 3 to 5 years, preferably over the next 3 years, trying to get set up like that. So
I love it.
If we're trying to buy a house next year, then I want to buy one that's probably in a neighborhood or one that is like a not so nice house, but has a little bit of property.
Yep.
To where we could just pay someone to haul that mobile home off or just relocate it to a different part of the property and build our house on that property.
Yes, sir.
So we buy a piece of property with a cheap mobile home for like $200,000, $250,000, pay some of that off. We have some of the land, some of the place, move the horses there.
Yep.
And then, a place for my parents. Or the idea is next year is to buy a house in like a neighborhood. Just keep paying for boarding, but buy a house. Try to keep the payments like the mortgage payments the same as like what we're paying for rent now.
Yeah, that's good.
And then when we move in a couple of years later, then we've got the money, we've saved it up that we can buy the property and build. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then we can turn that into a rent house.
Exactly. That's smart. Well, Beyonce said it the best. Let me upgrade you. You know me. That's what us women do. And when you get the right one now,
I got a good one. I'm proposing next week.
You better. I love it.
Are you live?
Brady, you're not supposed to be saying this stuff.
No, it's okay.
You're supposed to be surprised.
It's not live.
Oh, nice.
So we good.
Okay. Also, it's gonna be a wedding.
It's like, what are you doing?
She knows I'm proposing next week, but she has the wrong day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good. That's so good.
And I've had to pack because she doesn't know we're going on a trip either.
Oh, you better.
And so she's been missing articles of clothing over the last week. Been like, where's my shirt? Where's my pants?
I don't even know.
I don't know where you put.
Did you check the
put
washer?
it up. Right.
It keeps going into
come on
into the into her suitcase that's in the garage.
Yes.
And the suitcase hasn't moved, so it looks like it's still in storage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You smart. I like you.
I got to tell you this story because I think you'll like it.
Yes. But, I love that. Come on now. I can't. You got to take pictures. You got to post it when you do it.
Oh, he will.
Yeah.
Oh, he will.
Especially because
if you know me, I walk into my people's office and I'm like, hey, this just happened. Post it.
Well, come on. I love that.
Here, capture this. Go.
Yeah.
Come on, get it on there. Come on. Where y'all at?
Yeah.
That's hot. That is dope. I love that. And you sound like you got a good one. I like everything that you said about that too. That's the way to do it. And then you're thinking about, like you said, your parents. A lot of people don't think like that, So, yeah.
I got to show you a picture of her.
Yes. Come on now.
She's exciting.
Come on. Got the right one.
So that's his.
She beautiful.
That's hers.
Yes.
And this is going to get published, but I've got a story to tell you after this
She
as well.
is beautiful. Honey, you did good, baby.
Thank you.
Listen, brains and beauty, that's what you'd really like.
She is, man. She's the full package. I had to write an article for the Tulsa World newspaper about the proposal.
What?
Yeah, and I was talking about how important it is to have good traits.
Yep.
In your significant other and your spouse.
Yes.
And so I talked about some of those traits, and I was lucky to find someone with all those traits and stuff. But yeah. So like we went to the pumpkin patch the other day.
She is beautiful. She is beautiful.
Cute pic. You've met her.
Yeah.
You've known her for a while.
I've known her longer than you have.
Right.
Yeah.
I know her for you, bro. Yeah.
It's funny because they go all the way back to like their family's family are like next door neighbors, basically. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
small world.
Small world.
Stop
And
it.
she was like, "Whoa, you know Chance Jones? Oh, I know his dad.
Wow.
And his dad is next door neighbors with so and so, and we go out there as kids, and they're still living next door.
Grandpa, but yes.
So it's funny.
Wow.
But still, yeah, history.
That's dope.
Wow. Wait a minute. I know who you are.
Right. I know you.
And she came here one day, and it was just like, wait a minute.
Nice. Yeah. It is a blessing. I feel like obviously this is I'm in my second marriage, but I say the marriage, right? And I bring 3 beautiful children into the relationship.
Boys, girls.
I have 2 boys, 1 girl. My girl's in the middle.
She's gonna have a hard time getting dates.
Right.
My sisters did.
Listen,
I've got 2 younger sisters. It goes me, 2 brothers, then 2 sisters.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah.
my family would always make the joke. They were like, if the guy gets to her, and they have to go through me, I check their finances.
Yeah.
Then my brothers make sure, are you physically fit? And the next one makes sure that he has a heart and he's good to her.
Right.
And then my dad's like, okay.
Wow.
Doesn't even have to vet.
Exactly.
Like my sons will do it.
Yeah, and she's in the middle, so it's like, I don't know who's worse, her older brother or her younger brother. They're both intense. And it's like, wow, Trey, I'm going to pray for you, babe. Yeah, it's intense. And so now my husband doesn't have any children, right? And so that's what we're going to be gearing up to start doing in the next year.
Hey.
I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go. Hey, to having babies. But no, yeah, but he's been an amazing, the kids don't even call him like stepdad. They call him like a spiritual dad because he's just been like that person that prays over them and encouraged them, inspires them. Like from my son just graduated high school, got his going for mechanical engineering at college, right? My husband gave him $1,000 for graduation. I was like, now I gave him $100 in a Nike jacket that he asked me for. You know what I mean? I'm like, $1,000? What you know? He said, yeah, he's a man, and I want to give him his first 1,000 because he's supposed to make him. You know, I was like, wow,
what a statement.
That's a huge
awesome.
statement. So the respect that my kids have for him is just like, it's amazing. They call him J-Dad. So it's like, I think that's cool. His name is Josh, but they're like, J-Dad, you know. So I was like, I didn't want them to feel pressure to call them dad or anything like that. Whatever you guys feel comfortable with. And my oldest was like, well, can I call you J-Dad? He was like, I love it. You know,
Perfect.
so they, so it's like, that's what's up. Yeah. This is hot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations to you on that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I love it.
Abel, do you have anything to add?
No, man, I'm just mesmerized in this conversation. Honestly, I'm curious. You started off the whole conversation with all these things that you've done.
Yeah.
How in the world did you get started, and how did more or less life take you on the journey from the beginning to where you are now, thinking about starting or extending your family, I guess better said. What did that journey look like for you?
Yes, you better ask a good question. Come on now.
He's the guy.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, this is what I like to say. I'm 43 years fine, right? I don't say young or old. I say fine. You know what I mean? Like fine wine, baby. Like fine china. Hey, got him.
I gotta start playing with this more.
Listen,
Yeah,
I like that.
You're on
I
it.
like that. So obviously, I've lived life, right? Thank you, Jesus. I don't look like what I've been through. So honey, God is faithful, 80. And so I think how it started for me, if I can be 100% military, I graduated high school and went straight to the Army. And I feel like that produced a level of discipline and organizational skills and leadership and time management. So I wanted to go to college, and I'm the first generation to go to college. So my parents didn't really know about, how to help me and all that. But I was in junior ROTC in high school. Oh, I need some water too.
Gulp, 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 gulp.
Hello?
I'm right here. He said hello.
It was like, did they cut the feed?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was
So-
like, what happened just now?
I had popcorn earlier. I felt like, something went down. But anywho, so I was in our junior RTC, and recruiter came and said, hey, you want to go to college? This is the way. I'm like, I do. At that time, I didn't really apply myself. I was very intelligent. But, I got caught up in some of the wrong crowds. So my GPA was kind of low. I wasn't going to get a scholarship any other way. So I had to compete for a scholarship physically. And so I had to go to basic camp. And I mean, I had to I have never did push-ups and sit-ups that much in my life. And I felt like my life was on the line. I felt like I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm born and raised on the north side of Tulsa, right? A lot of times I say nothing good comes out from the north, right? And so I knew if I didn't get out of the situations that I was in, that I would end up being a statistic, be a woman, have, baby daddies, and, I just got to keep it real, right?
Now you're on the other side of the statistics.
Exactly.
The positive side.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but I knew I had to get out of that environment, and the way to do it was the military for me. Plus, I wanted to travel. I mean, they were like, man, you could do this. I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. And so that's how I started. And that jumping into that, never left Tulsa in my life like that, and seeing the world and the opportunity. I think if you can be exposed to something different, then you can think different. And so I was exposed at 18 of a whole different possibility. And most of my adult life has been other places. I moved back, well, not just, but I moved back to Tulsa at 32. So, I was 34. My bad. I was 34.
It is very important to travel.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Her name's Leslie.
Oh, yes.
Leslie hasn't done a whole lot of traveling. She hasn't been to LA, San Diego, Coronado. I mean, Dallas doesn't count. Yeah, it doesn't really count. Yeah. So I took her to Florida. We made it like a thing for us to go to Florida.
Yes.
Like I love Florida. Instead of giving each other gifts for our birthdays, hers is December 30th and mine is February 2nd. So it's pretty close.
Yes.
So in January, we'll go to Florida. Spend 3 or 4 days in Pensacola when it's off season. Nobody's there. The beaches are empty. We don't care about getting in the water. She's not big on surfing and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's we go down there, we experience the locals, and we just have some food and hang out on the beach.
Wow.
And walk around and stuff. And so that's what we've done for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
You have to do that, and I don't think that's where I'm at in my age now. It's about traveling. It's not even about the fancy cars or this and this and that. I mean, obviously I want a nice car, right? I want a nice home, right? But it's not like in my 20s and 30s, that's what it was going to be about.
Right.
But it's I want that money to go see the world. I'm at the place where my husband is Jamaican. His family is going to take us take me to Jamaica for the first time next year.
That's awesome.
I'm super,
That's so cool.
Dude, you know what I mean? I'm so excited about that.
So I'm taking her to Cozumel. After our proposal.
You better.
We're going to ride horses on the beach.
You better go ahead and be romantic. Come on out. I love that.
By the time she hears about this, it would have happened. So,
yes. Yeah. Oh, she's going to be like, oh, my God.
Yeah, she has no idea.
I love that.
I'm going to be in the suitcase.
Listen, for real. Can we go to take pictures? We can be your...
Yeah, I'll be your videographer.
Your camera,
right, so
your camera
cheap.
crew.
We're going out of New Orleans. A 4-day cruise,
Nice.
Cozumel massage, $200 bar credit, and all this stuff for $1,000.
You better.
Done.
That's right.
I looked at every option. I was like, well, I want us to go out on a weekend to a cabin or something, but they were all booked.
Yeah.
And at the price of that, or maybe going back to the traveling thing, I considered Vegas for a weekend.
Yeah.
Just 2 nights. And I'm like, well, that's going to be $1,800.
Yes.
At least.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want to spend $1,800. I already spent $8,000 on a ring.
Listen. Yeah.
No.
We got to figure something out here.
Yeah. Pick and choose.
Right.
So.
Yeah. That's the way to go. And that's what I want. I want to go places like Japan. I want to go to Italy.
Cool.
I want to go to Africa. I want to go, you know what I mean? Australia. I want to go around the world.
So what do you do with the kids?
So this is the thing with my household.
That's where it gets really difficult. I know for a lot of people, because they're like, I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever kids, and they don't even open up the option to leave because they're like, it's too much to plan.
It's too much to plan. So I have a very unique situation. So when I got divorced, my ex-husband, everything was in his name, right? When I was with him, I was a stay-at-home wife and a mother. So I wasn't allowed to work outside the home and different things like that, right? So my life consist of working in the home, which is the hardest job to do in life, to be a stay-at-home wife, right? And a mother, and I worked at the church, right? And so that relationship was a lot different. And so,
Abel, if you think of something, you can always speak up too, because you're not here. It's hard to know.
No,
I
know.
Say something.
I was just gonna confirm. I always say the same thing. Being a stay-at-home mom, I don't know how my wife does it,
baby,
but more power to all of you that can do it. because that's hard.
It is
That's
very hard.
Abel's being
hard.
one of them because he's got 3 kids between the ages of 8 months old and 5.
Oh, yes.
4, right? Your oldest is 6?
Yeah. 4.
4.
My oldest is 4,
Yep.
Yeah.
2, and then 8 months
Jesus.
old right now.
Baby, you sound like me. That's what I had. It's like, and then and it's a thing. Have a very strong personality, as you can kind of see, and so I go to college and get 3 degrees to be your wife and stay at home and take care of babies.
My mom was stay at home for 5 of us.
Baby,
It's a full-time job.
It is, and I'm not even listen, when you say something, I'm not even a domestic type of woman. So it's like it was like a stretch to cook and clean. I'm like, Jesus, I can hire somebody to do this, And so, you know what I mean? It was like, but I believe that season God was humbling me, right? And because you got to be able to serve.
Right.
And who better to serve than your family?
And you want to talk about sacrifices or anything. You sacrificed to some degree your hopes, your dreams.
Oh,
and
for sure.
For those kids, right?
For sure.
And so my mom had a dream of becoming a doctor.
Oh, wow.
She tried to go to school. She gave up med school. She worked in the hospital for a while and stuff too. But
yeah,
sometimes she wishes when she tells her story, she wishes she would have been able to do both.
Yeah,
It's like you have your own
She can
personal
still go
dreams and
back?
desires.
yeah,
It's kind of hard at 62 or 60, whatever she is.
yeah. He
My
said,
mom went back to law school at 53.
It's
Wow.
not too late, so she
Yeah.
can still do it and kind
Yeah.
of pursue that, right?
Yeah,
But I reminded her there was one conversation that we had when she told me that,
yeah.
and I was like, the sacrifices that you made to help raise 5 kids will change the world.
Agreed.
That-
Well, you have your
Hands down.
sacrifice have impacted so many lives.
Exactly.
The fact that I'm here with you having this conversation
That's-
is impactful,
Exactly. Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
The fact
sir.
that we work together to some degree is impactful.
That's right. That's right. And I think the reward in that is, for example, I wrote my first book at 42, right? But my daughter just wrote her first book at 17, right? So
And that's another cool thing that you
Yeah.
can do as you have those experiences and you travel.
That's
and
right.
you are so versatile too.
yes,
You can help your kids pursue whatever dreams or passions
most
that they
definitely.
have.
That's right. And I think that's what it's about. I want her to be 100 times better than me. If I'm doing it right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
In her
You-
own way too. which is
Exactly.
important, yeah.
There you go. And so it's like, man, and helping her like get her feet wet, because she was like, Mom, I want to do something like that when I get older. I said, you can do it right now.
Do it right now.
And she was like, what? I said, what you want to write about?
You don't have to wait. That's the thing.
Listen, yes.
Whenever you have somebody in a mentor role,
Yes.
the only thing they can really do for you, but the best thing they can do for you is just save you the time.
That part.
You don't have to spend the 20 years building
Baby,
the knowledge,
Jesus.
and you can just put it on you. And
So the hardest, so when it comes to the kids thing, I was one of those rebels.
Yeah.
I listened to my mom and my
Yeah.
dad. I had a good relationship with them and my family and stuff, but I was still like, my mom would be like, don't touch that, it's hot.
Yeah. And still, yes, yes.
I'd need to experience it for myself. So I think that it's still important to share that because
Most definitely. Most definitely.
not only was I auditorily learning,
Mm-hmm.
but I also experienced some of that stuff myself too.
Yes.
But for the ones who do listen, I know one of my boys, they listen and they just go, they have no desire to experience it if you tell them it's hot. The
Yes.
other one is like me.
Baby,
it's
yes.
hot. Ow. Yeah, I told you it's hot.
Right.
Yeah, your fingers are burned now. You know?
He said fingers are burned out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a good balance. Like, I think that was my daughter. So my boys are like, you tell me not to do that, and what you went through sounds crazy. I'm not trying to do none of that. But it's like, well, I hear you, Mom, and that's my daughter. So it's like, oh, Jesus. But that's my strong will. She has an entrepreneur spirit in her. Like, for her to write a book, and she's like running her own little business. Like, one of my specialties as a life coach, I'm a business coach.
Awesome.
And I do deal with branding and marketing. So I'm giving her, we have literally business meetings. And it's so funny to have that with my daughter. And I'm giving her things like, hey, you probably want to try this. Why don't you do this? So she's creating her own reels. She's making book sales. She has her own T-shirt
That's
now.
so cool. What is it? Let's give it a
It's
shout
called,
out.
yes,
Who
Trade
does
Danielle
that?
Dunn. And her book is called Hey Girl, God's Got You. And it's a 31-day encouragement journal for teenage girls and young women. And it's really, really dope. And it's on Amazon right now for $12.99.
We should just give her a round of applause.
Hey,
for that.
let's go, Trade. Yes, and like she is like killing the game right now.
Can you say the title one more time?
It's called "Hey Girl, God's Got You"
By who?
by Trade Dunn.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It'll be a clip.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's like she has a T-shirt like line coming out, product launch coming out this summer. She's going on a book tour this summer, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Dallas. So let me back up. My kids actually live in Iowa with my ex-husband.
Okay.
So the thing with that, I was a stay-at-home wife and a mom, so I didn't have any money, right? So when we got divorced, everything was in his name. The house was not in my name. The car was not in my name. I trust my husband. I trust that situation. So I was left with nothing. And so the judge was not going to give me my kids based on how much I love them. He has to, and and I could tell he was struggling with that decision, but he had to give them, like, they have to live. They have to have a room, they have to have a house. They have to have, and you can't really, I was in a homeless shelter because, I didn't have any money. I had to try to get a job real quick. And then even though I got 3 college degrees, because I had no work experience for like 7 years, I'm coming in at entry level. They don't care about you being no stay-at-home mom or wife. They're like, okay, ma'am. I was the boss of this. I was over the food. Sir, you trying to put stuff, make your resume fancy.
Trying to make it look 2 pages.
Right. He said, what was your food served over the household? 4 people. I had to cook, but it was like, so, I had to start off, so it was very humbling. And I think that's also what made me stronger in my next season, but it's funny. Now, how crazy is this? I was in the military, right? In the Army. So we did a lot of missions outside. We was outside for 3 weeks at a time. You know what I mean? Doing missions, right? So not knowing 10 years later, I was actually going to be homeless. So that prepared me to survive.
Right.
My survival skills kicked in like nobody's business. And, so, we're stronger than we give ourselves credit. And we know a lot more than what we think, that we have in us. And so I was fighting to get back on my feet. I was fighting to get my life back so that I could, first of all, be a productive citizen. I did not want to be the statistic. Now I'm a single woman on welfare trying to get a kid,
And you did work so hard getting out of the original situation, so you weren't going to be a statistic.
Do you hear me?
And now
and
you're
to get
starting
thrown
over
back.
doing the exact same damn thing.
Right.
I
said, let me get a break, Jesus. Is you with me or not, sir? And it was crazy, but I think that's what gives me the grit that I have. That's what
because not everybody has that grit,
baby.
Because
most
you can
people
drive
would
down
not.
in Chicago, L.A., New York. You don't have to walk far, or even here, you don't have to walk far. To find people that are struggling, that gave up.
Yeah,
and
that's what.
Have you ever seen what's the movie called? It's called Souls.
Haven't seen that.
Abel, what's that kids movie about the souls?
Kids movie that's about the soul.
Yeah,
Soul?
Is it called Soul?
It
might be called Soul. No, that's a jazz movie. Man, I know what you're talking about. Oh man, it'll come.
See, now I'm gonna have to go watch it now.
Is it the DreamWorks movie where she has a bunch of different emotions?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's about different feelings. Yes, that's the one.
So if you haven't seen that movie,
I have to see it now.
It's called Inside Out.
Inside Out. I'm gonna watch it.
Inside Out.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
So this is really cool because each one of these characters involve a different emotion.
Wow.
And any time that the person involved has something that's impactful with one of those emotions, a little orb is created that they take and store in house. Wow. And so it's kind of cool to be able to understand like the emotional intelligence parts, but it puts it in it like a kid's aspect.
Nice.
Perception.
Kids' movies are the greatest.
Great.
They really are.
For real, dope.
And especially the Lego movies, and they put the adult stuff inside the kids' movies so you can enjoy it.
Right. Because we have to endure it, right? Because it wasn't like, this movie better,
You ever go back and watch those movies and you're like,
it's so awesome.
That is so sexual.
Yes.
You nasty.
Right. Why'd you do that for the kids? Right. No, that's true.
And all the kids are just staring at this is awesome. And you're over here like, whoa,
What?
did y'all not pay attention to that?
Shrek is one of the worst.
Wow.
Well, because it was made 2000, so it was really kind of controversial.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Dang, I have to go back and watch it now. It's because y'all saying it. Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
I hate to do this, but I got everybody showing up here, so I'm gonna have to get off of here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Abel,
You
appreciate
good.
you,
Nice
joining
talking
us.
to you.
No, it's nice talking to you too, Toya, and hopefully I get to meet you in person one day.
Yes, sir. I would love that.
Guys, I appreciate you guys letting me just listen in mostly. It's weird not being in the studio. Your story, honestly, that's Toya. You go. You're kicking ass, and that's awesome. I love hearing it, and I can't wait to see what else you did.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys.
We'll see you,
I'll
Abel.
talk to you guys later.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Perfect. I do have one
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
So, you said you were in the Army.
Yes.
Where were you first stationed once you got
So-
out of high school?
I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Okay.
That's where they first had me do my basic, and that was intense. I think the training group that was before us, like 2 of the people had committed suicide. They took their boot laces out of their boots. I was like, and they told us that. I said, why would you tell us that? I'm like, Lord, did I make the right decision?
Perspective.
I said, oh my God. And it was like, it was intense. I mean, I've never seen, obviously you got probably 80%, maybe 90% men, 10% women,
Right.
right? So I have never seen so many muscle bound men cry in my life. And it's like, and how I had to like psych myself out. If I see you do like one of the exercises or whatever we had to do before me, and you was fearful or scared, it'd mess me up.
100%.
Right? So I would have to volunteer because the drill sergeant would be like, who wants to go? And I'm like, I want to go, drill sergeant.
Go first.
So it looked like I was like and tough, but it wasn't really that. It was like, I can't see nobody else do it. If they mess up, I ain't gonna be no good.
If they fail, I'm already 80% back.
Right. And I just knew I had to just do it.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool because that situation helped me to understand sisterhood on the next level, because I never really been discriminated against for being a woman. Like in the African American race, it's like, girls and boys can do the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They go take out the trash. And I'm like, you. I'm like, well, I'm the girl. He's like, I don't care who you is. Go get that. You know what I'm saying? It's like no like gender.
Yeah.
Like you can
Everybody
be at
works.
Yeah, cut that grass. I'm like, dude, he's and so I've never had to deal with that. But it's like it's like some of the guys didn't want us to be there. Like this ain't a place for you, And so. And then it didn't help. Some of the women were dating. They get confused. Like I'm like, I'm not gonna date nobody I work with. Right. And I kept that same energy. If we work together, we're not dating, because I gotta show up and see you. I want to keep a good relationship. You know what I mean? And so a lot of I called them my brothers. They respected me because I put in the work. I'm not trying to act like you, because I can't do everything you do. I don't have the broad shoulders you have, but I'm gonna do my very best. And so I came in with that type of attitude. So I created like family with my sisters and my brothers, but it was a sisterhood too, because it's like we were kind of looked at like, yeah, y'all can't do this, So that was a different experience for me, but I loved it.
Right.
Like the military, like you waking up at 5:00. We're already done 10 things before people that wake up at 9:00 have done.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
what we had a podcast once about, like your daily structure.
Yeah,
like I wake up at between 4 and 5.
Exactly, me too.
I have
every morning
all my stuff done before 8 a.m.
Yes,
and even if the rest of the day is complete garbage, I've had a successful morning.
There you go, that part, and you have to. And I think another thing, like obviously I'm in my 40s, right?
Right.
So I'm pushing on the other end. I'd be 50, right? So I tell people, first of all, take vitamins and I work out. So I get up at 5:00 to work out.
Perfect.
Right? And then I'm eating healthy. You have to prepare for the next decade. I'm not eating for my 40s. I'm eating for my 50s. Right? When I'm in my 50s, I got to prepare for my 60s. You got to be one decade ahead. But that's the mindset, even in business. I got to be ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's just like the military has given me such a strong foundation for my adulthood.
To build off of.
Right. I think that's really what did it for me.
I really appreciate you saying like being prepared for the next decade.
Yeah.
Both in the personal and in the business aspect.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's so hard to see further than front of your face.
Exactly.
Which
it
is
is
1,
hard.
2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out.
It is.
Like maybe that year.
Yeah.
Or even a year for a lot of people is really hard to see out.
It is.
And whenever you ask somebody like, hey, where do you see yourself in next year?
Yeah.
Or 3 years or 5 years
Right.
there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And to me, that's so difficult to imagine. And so it's a good reminder to try to prepare for like your 40s, your 30s, your 50s, whatever
exactly.
it is. And what would you say to like practice being that age? Whatever that would mean. I mean, I don't know. Like, what does that mean? Like trying to prepare and eat or whatever, like for your 40s
I would say like
or 50s or whatever.
right. Well, definitely physically because being physical fit is wealth. Like you can't be wealthy and then be sick. Your money is going to be drained from medical bills, and a lot of people are getting sick a lot younger now because they're not taking care of themselves physically. They're just focused on the material. They're not getting enough sleep. Like I don't care what business is going on. At 9 o'clock, my phone is off. Like there's boundaries, right?
Oh man, yeah.
8:30.
So like I had somebody that I know
Yeah.
that sent a group text about something that wasn't urgent and it was client related and it was customer related at like 10:30 at night and wanted something done, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, but this is not an appropriate text at 10:30 at night requesting to work. This is going to be best as an email. I appreciate you, working for you and all this stuff, but
Yeah. It's so
I'm
important.
not trying to be an ass,
Right.
or be disrespectful.
No,
and
yeah.
I said that too. Is I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
like some boundaries.
You have to, because if you don't, go ahead.
If you text me between the hours of the normal hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.,
Yep.
Monday through Friday, I will text you back.
That is correct.
If you text me after 5 o'clock, it is
Yep.
at my discretion until about 8 o'clock if I want to text you back or not.
That is correct.
After 8 o'clock, I don't text anyone back unless it's personal to me.
Well,
Yeah,
texts
yes,
were also
yes.
meant to be of like something subtle.
Yeah,
that was
like,
a little
hey,
bit more
just so you
urgent
know,
than emails.
there you go.
Yeah, and then if I
Yes.
needed something now, I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
But if it's something that
Right.
I can wait 1 to 5 business days for,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you an email.
I will
Yes.
never call someone as far as a business
Nope.
action, like anything, accounting of all, after 5 o'clock.
That's
It can
right.
wait till tomorrow, or
Yep.
it can wait till Monday.
See, I'm okay with
Yeah.
6. Six is kind of
Yeah.
pushing it though.
Just
But
build the boundaries.
Yeah.
That's what I built on.
You have to, because if you don't,
Where do you
you're
draw the
abused.
line?
there you go.
You
You're
got to
abused.
draw the line
And
somewhere.
and at the end of the day, your future wife, like that's priority. Kids part, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a life outside of this. Like you're not going to control
which
and take over
sadly
my
for most
life.
people is only 2-3 hours a day after work
Exactly.
because most of us work during the day.
That's right.
You know.
And so and it's okay. I mean, I tell my husband, not all money is good money. Like I have, for example, I'm taking a sabbatical off of social media for the month of October, November, December, and January.
That sounds nice.
That's very risky with the type of
Industry you're in.
Right. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I have my own show called Real Talks with Toya, and so people are like viewing and watching and, but I need to recharge. If you want this
Right.
level that I bring, I have to be able to turn off.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah. I'm not
Man,
taking
that's
gigs.
an excellent reminder.
Like, listen, well, this one lady said, she was like, well, I have a gig for you in November. I'm like, well, November's booked. Well, she was like, well, how much you charge? Well, it doesn't really matter how much I charge, but normally for this, I charge that. She said, I triple it. I'm not moved by that. I'm not moved by that.
It's not
money
money.
doesn't move me. Like, I'm taking time and I'm going to spend time with my husband. I'm going to refresh and spend time with God. I'm going to spend time with myself and figure out what my goals are for 2023.
Right.
Like, that's approaching pretty quick here, right? And we do an annual thing where we review what we did in the month of December, and we launch out what we're going to do for what we're going to do for 2023. And so we're setting goals, but I can't do that if I'm constantly moved in
Trying to
different
do other
places.
things, yeah.
And so, it sounds like absurd to do, like, oh, who does that? But I tell you what company has done that, and they are hugely successful when they set boundaries. Chick-fil-A. They don't work on Sundays, baby.
Nope.
I don't care what fast food do what.
How many people are upset by that too?
Yeah.
I mean, I am,
Right.
'cause
I mean, I
Don't care.
love Chick. I'm
day
gonna
I
leave
want
here
it.
right
Yeah,
now
don't
and get a market salad when I leave here. So I love Chick-fil-A, believe that. But he set boundaries.
Yeah.
He said my employees are going to have Sundays off. But if you look at any Chick-fil-A at any given time, there's lines
All the
constantly.
All the time.
Right?
Anywhere. Even if
Dude.
there's like 4 within 2 square
Do
miles.
you hear me? You don't see that.
always booked.
Yeah.
Always.
It's like, Jesus.
So I'm trying to get one.
Like, dude, I know, right?
I'm trying to get in that franchise.
Right. And it's like, you
You
don't
got to
see
work for them
McDonald's.
first
Yeah.
for like 5
do.
years or something, and then you can apply and get a franchise.
Oh, I've already applied.
Did
I
you?
got told no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't work there.
And it was because it wasn't going to be my only job.
They want you to,
Yeah.
they have to.
If I was, because I was going to put up the money, and they're like, oh, well, you will, but it has to be your sole job. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So until I can basically just buy a whole franchise with like
Exactly.
$180K,
Yeah.
it's not going to be, not going to be an option for me.
Yeah. But
Sadly.
that's
It's going to happen though.
Come on.
I'm going to have one.
And
That and the
it's like-
Dutch Bros. Those two.
They are booming.
It's the same way.
They're booming now. Because it used to be
Yeah.
Starbucks, but dude, yeah.
I'd rather go to Dutch Bros.
I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan. I have my own coffee shop.
There you go.
Do you?
He's good
Yeah,
at it.
it's right over here. It's right next door.
I
got my own
he
little
said
bar
you
area.
Crazy. He said, I got
Yeah.
Really good.
Come on
Really
now.
good, by the way.
Okay.
He's like 100% recommend.
That's what's
Recommend.
I
up.
still need to record that voiceover. You're going 100%.
100%.
That's his
how
thing.
I
That's
love
great.
that. I love that. You got to put that on that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, so so that's boundaries. I mean, that's creating something that's never been done. He going to industry that's never been done. Fast food is fast food.
Right.
7 days a week. But they said, no, this is what I'm going to do. So it's okay to set what you're going to do.
Exactly.
You know, and if you're in a rush for that, this is my thing. I'm big on recommendation. I can recommend you 5 other hosts or MCs that can do what I do, that I feel it'll be a good job. Now, if you want to, I've actually had clients and people that have rescheduled their events
For
and pushed
you. Yeah.
for me.
Oh, I
said,
know
that
what
is
that's like
intense.
with events and stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
like, you better
When
go
you-
in and do your stuff and don't wait for me.
Because
Let
those
know
the
I want
roles
you.
are so important, though, too.
Yes.
I mean, they can change the game for an event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so so I'm like, you could do that, but I got somebody that will be good at like, nah, when you gonna be available? I'm like, wow, that is intense.
Yeah.
But I have to do that for me because that's part of my health. That's mental health, emotional
Right.
health. You can get drained from
One of
that.
the coolest things I've heard, and I think I can agree with,
Yeah.
right around our generation, is the whole emotional and mental health, and being self-aware.
Yes.
And then trying to improve on that and being able to set boundaries. Leslie's TikTok is full of mental health stuff like ADHD, like
Yep.
raising kids and
Yep.
understanding boys. And she's reading this one book about understanding. I think it's called Little Boy, Little something. But it's basically kind of each chapter explains the developmental process with boys between like 1 and 3,
Yeah.
4 to 6, 8, 7 to whatever. And when she was reading that, she would share some of the things that would be in that book.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, the boys actually were doing that at that age.
Yep.
They're doing that at this age.
Yep.
And then he, in that book, he makes references to when they're adults.
Yes.
When they're men and they're
Yes.
grown men.
That's right.
And those developmental stages and those activities that happen are so important.
Yep.
And it explains why, as males, things happen in our adulthood the way that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you skip a developmental phase where, like, I think it's between 6 and 8, that's like, I don't know how else to say it. It's a love phase.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're very clingy to
Yes.
mom and dad. They love to give hugs and kisses.
Yep.
They tell you I love you. They love the affirmation and the affection.
Yep.
And if you're constantly rejecting them or are unacceptable of it,
Yes.
then that causes so much grief later on in their relationships in
promise
the
you.
future.
Yep.
And they'll never know. They'll never be able to explain it. They'll
Yeah.
never know why, but they're going to have troubles in the relationship being able to express themselves
Yeah.
in a love language.
That is correct.
And they won't know why.
That is correct.
And it all stems back from that one deal. And it's so crazy being a parent.
Yeah.
And being in your 20s
Yes.
and having a couple kids and like Abel, right? He's not 30. He's not even 30 yet.
Yeah.
I think he's
27. He's 1 year
27.
older than me.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You're supposed to be able to train these soon to be adults.
That is
You're
correct.
training these humans to be functional people in society and to have the emotional intellect and intelligence and the mental capacities to do whatever it is and the skills.
Yep.
And sometimes you don't even have a lot of times you don't have the skills yourself. You got
Listen.
to figure it the hell out.
So
And you're like, I need help.
when you say that, so I'm a 3rd grade reading teacher, right? But I'm also a life coach,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's got to help.
Do you hear me? And then
I mean, it does. You give a bigger, a larger
they're like
scope.
they're like my little clients, right? Real talk. They don't even know they're my little clients, right? And then on top of that, I'm a minister, so I have the love of God that I give them. I give them hugs. So
The patience and understanding.
there you
is such
go.
a big role,
So
yeah.
when they come in, I'm teaching, and I'm teaching deep north, Turley, Oklahoma. So most of the kids there are African American. We have Hispanic. We have a couple Caucasian, but they're come from a broken home, right? They don't
Right.
have mom and dad.
Right.
And you want to talk about recharging?
Right.
You know, with teachers having 25 students on average in
Listen.
a class with no assistant,
Right.
and knowing that half of them don't have a mom or don't have a dad,
Yes.
or maybe they have one or both, or both of them, and one of them's shooting up or drinking,
Yep.
or is never home, or
They see-
or
yeah.
doesn't know how to take them through the developmental process. So those teachers,
Yep.
like, God bless them for making what they make. First of all, putting
Yeah.
the time, the money, the energy, and the effort into their
Yes.
jobs and the roles. The good ones
Yep.
do.
Yes.
And like the teachers that my boys have,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you tell me if you need something.
Right.
I'll figure it out.
Listen.
Because God bless you, because it's your job to help raise these kids
Yeah.
with me.
Yes.
Because they're with you
Yes.
the other half of the time.
Listen,
Like,
and I tell them, it's crazy because and this is going to sound crazy, but I'm not stressed out about teaching. Like a lot of teachers are stressed out, but like you said, they don't have the coping. Parents or teachers have the coping skills sometimes to even work around these little personalities because they're little people, right? And
with
so
a lot of personality
baby,
sometimes.
they have a lot of personality, and then they get my discipline side, which is my military side. But first thing when they come in my
Hey,
room,
don't touch that.
I said, what I say? When they come in, the first thing they do, I teach them respect. This is my room you're coming into. You need to say good morning. You need to speak. We have to speak to one another, because that assures that we can greet each other and we can have a good day, right? And so, because I'm there, my homeroom comes to me first.
I'm very big on good mornings, goodbyes, and
Exactly.
I love you.
I do. Listen, I tell them I love them when they leave. So when they come in, I say either, and we have to have some type of, kids need physical touch.
Yep.
Either we do a fist bump or a hug, because every child is different. Our kids don't want to be hugged.
No.
So I said, we're going to touch. We're going to do a fist bump or we're going to do a hug. Well, of course, at the beginning of the year, everyone wants fist bumps, right?
Yeah.
A couple of my girls wanted hugs. But now I have way more hugs.
Right.
Even from my boys. I got maybe 2 fist bumps, but every now and again they give me hugs.
Right.
And so we do that. And then another thing, respect. I want them to respect me, but respect is given and earned. So they can either call me Mrs. Forbes, or they can say, because I don't do yeah, I do yes. Yes, ma'am, or yes, Mrs. Forbes. When they ask me something, I don't say yeah, I say yes. How can I help you, right? And I call them either sir or ma'am or their name. So I said my son.
Those little habits, even as adults.
Yes. You know what I mean? And so it's like,
I'm guilty.
you know, but it teaches
Sometimes,
them,
yeah.
they feel respected. When I say,
Right.
like when Tommy says, Miss Forbes, I said, yes, sir, how can I help you? They're like, sir. You know, I'm a sir.
It's
I'm 9.
empowering too. To
Yeah,
some
it-
degree, it's
there
the
you go.
level of respect too, and you feel it.
Yes. And they respond. And so when I got teacher of the month,
I'm a sir.
yes, and I'm a ma'am. They think that is the coolest thing, and it's like, you know, but how can I have them respect me if I'm not giving that respect, you know? And then I say, now it's a time and place for everything, and this time in here is time to read and write. I want you definitely to enjoy your recess, have a lot of good fun out there, because Miss Forbes is going to enjoy her break too. I said we gonna both be on break together. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay. And then showing them love. It doesn't take. I can go to Dollar Tree and get little gadgets for these kids that cost us hardly nothing, but bringing them something
Right.
is showing them love.
You got that from me?
Right, and that's what
Yeah.
they do.
That's what
They're
it
like,
is.
and I bring. So we have our pride is called Desiderio, and we wear black. So I got them all black bandanas.
Oh.
Right, and they thought that was the coolest thing. I put it for the girls on their ponytail around their wrist. The boys wanted, you know, and they thought it was the coolest thing. And then I said the last Friday of every month we'll have a party just to celebrate you, just for doing good and trying your best. They like,
Need a little bit of a relaxed day in there.
dude, you know what I mean?
So what is it? The recharge.
Right.
Man, those little personalities,
Listen.
they don't know how to recharge.
Right. And
They
then
don't ever really get the time either.
They don't.
Honestly.
Yeah,
You got to think. I'm the youngest one here, so it's easy for me to speak on. Man, when you were going through school, it was nothing but school.
yes.
Your last day of school was the only day you got to recharge, but
Yep.
it was the last day anyway.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
where I went to school was a little town called Preston.
Nice. Okay.
So
Is it Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just about 7 miles north of Okmulgee.
Oh, okay. I know where I'm.
I graduated with 32 people.
Wow.
Yeah, very small school, country
Okay.
school. We still got whoopings in 2000.
they wasn't playing with y'all.
Oh no.
I didn't.
No, I got friends with the superintendent and the principal and the counselor. I was friends with everybody in
Wow.
freshman year because
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
trying to get beat. You know,
Right.
'Cause I got enough at home.
He said, I ain't trying to get beat. Look,
I got enough
listen.
at home. I wasn't trying to get it at school too.
Right. Dang.
But instead of doing a spring break,
Yeah.
we would take all of our snow days, all of our days off, and then the days we would take for spring break is usually 2 weeks after spring break. The rest of the entire year was 4-day weeks. That's it. You got
better.
Fridays off.
This is what I want to do. I said, Lord, how can we have 4 days a week? These, cause like you said,
That's what it was.
I want to change our work schedule to 4 days a week. And
That
my
is dope.
Fridays are
baby.
optional. You come in,
Yeah,
you
you
hang
fill
out,
in.
we do podcast stuff.
I'm telling you.
Like,
Yep.
that's what I want to do.
That's right. That's the way to do it.
Getting there.
That's how I want my stuff structured. That's
Probably,
how
there's no reason why I probably couldn't just start it tomorrow. but,
Yeah.
you
Because
could.
I feel like, think about it. You have 5 days. Like, other cultures don't do that.
No.
And they
Other
don't do
countries,
40-hour work weeks.
they don't.
70-hour work weeks.
No.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. They don't do that.
Yeah. If you've ever been around the world, you're going to go and you're going to be like, what the heck is this?
They just chilling.
100%.
Right. And I'm like, what are we doing? Killing
Yeah.
ourselves? I'm not going to kill
100%
myself for no job.
That's what it is.
Because that's what you end up doing.
But that's what school is. School is built
System. Yeah.
to make factory workers.
That is correct.
Build
System.
people to work Monday through Friday.
That is correct.
That is what school is
Yes, it
structured.
is.
7 to 5,
7
7
to
to 3,
5.
3 to 11,
not
11 to
it's not-
7.
College is the same way.
Yep.
That's like I was 16 hours away from my mechanical engineering degree. 18 hours.
So you know all about
18
that.
hours away
Yeah.
from my aerospace engineering degree.
What?
And 18 hours away from my civil engineering degree.
Dang.
I'm never going to go back to school.
He said, I'm never going to go back. Yeah.
I have no use for it.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't fit.
It doesn't.
My mom went to school. She's got
doesn't.
like 4 or 5 degrees, and then she
Yeah.
went back to law school.
Yeah.
It finished in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like it's just not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going into a trade. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go be a doctor. I'm not going to be a lawyer. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
It was a waste of time and a waste
It's
of
the
money.
money. You know what? And it's crazy because I don't do anything with I have 3 college degrees, don't do nothing with them. And I said, Lord, what was that about?
Yeah.
Because because I didn't realize it was like go to college, right?
Yeah.
But it's not be in purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes your purpose has nothing to do with college.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with
There's
college.
nothing wrong with it
It's
because
not
I'm
for
pushing
me.
education. Exactly.
It's not for me.
But
if you're
Agreed.
going for
Yeah.
a trade or you're going for something like that, it's great.
You need to do it, yeah.
But I don't want that. I'm
And it's
happy.
like, only thing I can say that I got out of that was that I started something and finished.
Perfect.
So it lets me know that I can start something and finish. It's in me to finish.
Right.
Right. And so because me transitioning from one school to another, because I was in the military, I ended up at the last year of me about to be a commissioned officer, I hurt my back, right? And I wanted to make a full 20 years of it. And I would be retiring like a couple years ago. I would have retired like at 42.
Thank you, by the way, for your service.
Thank you so much.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
But it's like, man, but that wasn't the cards for me because if I had it for 20 years,
Right.
I wouldn't be doing the other things that I was doing. You know what I mean?
It has its own way around.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. You know, so it's like, so yeah.
Because I quit college to come back in because my family started a new company.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll go and bust for 5 years with them. And now I just quit one day because I was like, I'm not happy here. So,
Yeah. Listen.
They're like, I'm going to start my own clothing line and give back
Baby.
to St. Jude. Hey,
Listen,
tell your goal.
So to be able to donate over $100 million in the next 2 years.
100 million. You better.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
It's a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
But
You
I mean,
gonna-
in,
you gonna, but you
in
can,
retrospect, it's not a lot.
Yeah. It's not. It's really not. It's 2 years. Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's
If the message gets out, the products are there.
Exactly.
It's not going to take any time at all.
And the message, I was telling him earlier when he was telling me that, I've never heard of that. Like, people to do clothing is all about this just the dopest gear and the fame that comes with it or the money that comes with it. They're not trying to donate to nobody.
Right.
So the fact that he has that heart posture, I said, God's definitely going to open up a door for you to do that.
He's like, can I just make a living?
Yeah.
50, 60 grand a year.
Right.
And then,
And
give the rest to
because of
St.
that,
Jude's. Like,
yes, your company is going to be able to do that, but you're going to be wealthy as well.
Yeah.
Because your heart.
Yeah.
It's almost like it takes me back to, what was it? King Solomon in the Bible had the most wisdom. And, young man getting put into position to be a king, ask God for 2 things. Help me to govern these people well and, help me to love you. And because he just asked for those simple things, God made him the wealthiest king. Like, it's like crazy. And the wisdom that man had. So your heart is like so pure in that. Like, I just want to be able to just give back. You know what I mean? So that's pretty dope.
Toya,
Yes.
it has been a pleasure.
Yes, this is so amazing.
Can you believe we've already ran into a little over an hour.
Come on now, because we could talk,
you
baby.
could talk another 2-3 hours. Yeah, we could do.
You better cut me off. Listen.
Yeah, right. No, so we could bring you back in for like a part 2 or something,
yeah.
or
Whatever
if
you guys want.
come up with
I know she
a topic.
she got to recharge. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
recharge. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, but
yeah.
if you have a topic that you feel like that others would benefit from or contribute,
Nice.
we like to. I mean, most of our topics have been business related, but it's also kind of somewhat been about people.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
And just professional workspace too in general.
Yeah.
We've had some episodes about that.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
dope,
so we'll
yeah.
have to do that.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. This has been amazing.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Peace.